Hi folks, Six Slices here. Now this is another Taylor's Eyewitness knife in another beautiful wood, another of my Barlows, and this one is in light poplar. Now I do have, I don't like to have repeats of knives, but I do have another Taylor's Eyewitness Barlow in poplar, but this one is green dyed poplar. So I just thought I'd bring that one along just to show alongside this new one. This is a very nice wood actually. It does have a real glow to it, real reflectivity. Now I don't know how well that shows on the camera, may just show as light and dark, but it actually has a real glow to it. Really nice bit of wood. In terms of the knife itself, it is typical Taylor's Eyewitness action. Stiff enough to be very confidence inspiring, but not stiff enough to break your nails when you're opening it. They've got a very good balance, right? It's one of the smaller nail nicks that they tend to do these days. I don't know quite why that is. There's probably a technical reason for it. There's a small flaw in the wood here, but it's a natural material, so that's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with that. In terms of the general fit and finish, there is nothing to feel in the transitions at all. It's absolutely smooth. So you've got a lovely file work up the back that Lee does. He's not the only person to do it, obviously, but he does do it very well, very nicely. And there is a style to it. I'll be showing, I'll be mixing in with these knives some of the Michael May knives that I've picked up, and you'll see Michael tends to have much a sharper file. It's not when I say sharper, I don't mean that it's better. It's a more linear, sharp style, whereas Lee is a very flowing, soft style, which I like them both. I mean, the one's not better than the other, but they're distinctive. Something you can actually tell that these, who made these knives. But I say the poplar's nice. I do, as I say, have another poplar, one from Taylor's Eyewitness, which is this green dyed poplar. Again, a lovely glow to that wood. Really good reflectivity in poplar, which I perhaps wouldn't have appreciated till I had these knives. This one is slightly older, and it has the really quite big nail nick that they used to do. By comparison, this one's much bigger, and this is much smaller. But they both have their advantages and disadvantages, but they both work fine. This one being slightly smaller and shallower doesn't perhaps collect so much gunk. This one being bigger is easier to clean out. So I don't know which is a better and which is a worse, whatever. There are a couple of flaws in this little bit of the light poplar, but I generally would say I probably prefer the light poplar in terms of its colour and so forth. I do have another poplar knife, which is from Arthur Wright. This is a lamb's foot rather than a Barlow. And has the world's stiffest action. Well, maybe not the world's stiffest action, but it's very, very stiff. Oh, mind you, when that's open, you believe in that. It's a real solid knife. So in terms of, there's not as much figuring in this wood. It's much simpler and plainer. This one was an exclusive that they did, that Moonraker did. I have a couple of their exclusive patterns. Ashley Harrison showed these on his Instagram page, and I thought I just had to have one because they look really nice. But I have to say, the Tailor's Eyewitness has a better pattern to it, much more glow in the wood. But, and I don't want to be, so I don't want to be overly critical, because the Tailor's Eyewitness knife here costs 4 times as much as the exclusive from Arthur Wright. So it's, you expect more, you pay more, you expect more, and you do get it. I mean, the fit and finish on this knife is nothing to complain about, but at the same time, it isn't perfect. Whereas you would have every right to complain if this wasn't perfect, but perfect it is. These Tailor's Eyewitness premium knives are definitely of at least GEC quality, and probably I would say surpass GEC in that quite often their materials are better, particularly handle materials. I think they do exhibit a little bit more choice and selectivity in picking out the materials that they use. So you might get the same wood from a GEC, but you won't generally get the same sort of premium pieces as regularly as you do from Tailor's Eyewitness. But there's a much lower volume producer. People can sometimes think of GECs as being relatively small batch knives. Arthur Wright are small batch knives, but these are individual one-offs. Lee makes one of these knives, and then he makes another of these knives from start to finish, rather than doing little batches. Batches of these can be anything from half a dozen up to dozens at a time, depending on the wood. I don't know, I think there were maybe a dozen or so of these that were done as a batch. Anyway, what I really wanted to show you was this new Poplar, light Poplar knife, which I think is a real beauty and a real credit to Lee and to Tailor's Eyewitness. So if you like the stuff, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of these, there's one more of these to come just now, and I dare say there'll be more in the future. Please subscribe, and if you want to see that other one and the other bits and pieces that are coming along, then please remember to ring the bell. Thank you very much.